We are doing things a little different this week as I am reflecting back on this past year. Instead of a full new episode, we are going to be sharing some segments from some of our best episodes, some shocking stories, some impactful moments, and I can't wait for you guys to listen to them all. So we put something fun together for you, and I can't wait for you to listen and enjoy. That's all I got for you guys this week, and I'll see you next time. So without further ado, please enjoy this week's episode. You said you have a story of how you met your husband at a wedding, so let's get into that.
Okay, so I met Mr. Borgert. We were both in the same wedding party for my cousin almost 16 years ago. And he clocked me right away and was like, that's the girl I want to marry. So we got to the reception, danced a little bit. There was definite connection early on. We both went our own ways. The next week, he called my cousin, old school, got my number, called me on the telephone. I heard this man's voice. Who does that
Right.
anymore?
So
Um,
unheard of these days.
I know. And he asked me out on a date, and we have been together ever since. But yeah, he went up to my cousin, who was the bride, and said, I just want you to know I'm going to marry that girl. And
Oh my gosh, that's like a romantic story.
I know, I love
Oh
it.
my
So,
gosh. So how is he connected to the wedding? Was he like a groomsman or he was, I guess, your cousin's husband friend?
yes, he was a longtime childhood friend of the groom.
Okay.
So now they get to be at family functions together, and we're
Oh
like
my
raising our
God.
kids together. So it's wonderful.
I love that when they're already like connected. So there's like no extra introduction. You got an in, he's got an in. And then for you, it was a family wedding. So your family was probably already there. Did he like meet your parents then at the wedding and everything?
I don't know if he necessarily liked them at the wedding,
Yeah,
but he was invested in the fun that my family can have for sure. We
I
are
love
a
that.
good time.
I
So
love that.
yeah, he was there for it.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that story because usually when I ask people crazy stories, they're like, I try to not put people on the spot, but I love that it was like a positive, good story because
Yes.
people just remember these crazy moments. That's why I share them. But like for the most part, there are so many great wedding stories and like fun moments and wild moments about dancing and
Yes.
hanging out. Awesome. I love that. So when you're thinking back of all the weddings, I'm sure you have all these like flooded memories that come up. What's like one of the craziest or like, out there things that you either witnessed or you heard about or you saw at a wedding?
I worked a wedding once in Staten Island. I got to know the bride and the groom for about 3 to 4 months. Everything checked out, everything seemed normal. I get to the wedding, we get her dressed, we have a great morning, everything is going really well. All of a sudden, 5 minutes before the ceremony, all her guests are seated, the wedding officiant's there. 5 minutes before the wedding, she grabs my arm, pulls me in a room, and locks the door. And she says, Jen, I hate the groom. I don't want to do this.
Oh,
That was the first time that this has happened to me. Like you see this in movies, the bride who's, I don't want to do this, let's go.
yeah.
But this was happening in real life. And I think this was like 2 or 3 years of job where I never experienced this. So I basically said to her, look, I will call us an Uber. I'll sneak you out the back door. We will go. I don't care. I've been paid. I don't care. But I personally can't sleep at night unless you sit down with the groom and tell him you're leaving, because that just doesn't seem right to me. This isn't a rom-com. This isn't a movie. This is people's real life. So I basically put the groom in the room with her. I put a timer on my phone for 10 minutes. And I was like, you guys talk for 10 minutes and then I will come back and whatever is decided, I will help you with. So in that 10-minute time, they basically hashed it out and they realized, okay, like they actually don't want to marry each other. They don't like each other.
Oh
They
my,
don't want to do this. But the wedding's now in like the wedding should have started. So
oh,
basically what they decided was that they were going to go through with the wedding. They never signed the marriage license and it was just going to be fake. Because the truth is, like, nobody actually knows if you sign your marriage license. And that's what marriage actually is, that legal document. So honestly, at a lot of weddings, they just don't sign the marriage license and they're not really married. So the wedding starts, they don't sign the marriage license. They're like miles away from each other. The first dance, they're like high schoolers who like won't touch each other. It's an outdoor wedding. It's supposed to be a beautiful day. It starts storming, torrential downpour. Everyone's soaking wet. They go to move the cake on the dance floor. The cake falls off the table. Like literally everything goes wrong. It's as if the universe was like, this shouldn't happen. And I just remember leaving that wedding thinking like, wow. Like, this is crazy. It was
Oh
crazy.
my gosh. Like you mentioned, it's not like a rom-com, but it kind of like it sounds so crazy. They're like together this whole time planning this wedding, and then the day of, they're just both, yeah, I don't really care. Let's just go through this fake wedding. And did anyone else know?
No, because all her friends were just like, why, what's going on? And I was like, oh, they just have to talk about something before they go do their vows. Nobody really knew. But then I think during the wedding, there was obviously a sense of like distance and hatred between them. But a lot of people don't really pick up on that. Nobody really questioned it. And yeah, I think like after the wedding ended a couple months later, they just went their separate ways. And that happens. Not a lot of people, but people will break up or get divorced a couple months or a year after they get married because they felt this way on their wedding day, but they just didn't admit it. Yeah, I do bachelorette parties, rehearsal dinners, engagement parties, bridal showers. I think the most interesting part is that I don't drink. I just don't like to drink. I haven't drank in so many years. So I go to all these things completely sober. And it's interesting because a lot of these environments are meant to be when people are more rowdy and drinking. So when you're the sober one, you see it in such a different light. Like you see the drama in a really different light. But also, like, I need to be sober because my job is not to party with them, it's to fake party with them, but be there for them. And you really need to have a clear mind. A lot of people who want to work this job are like, I'd be so good at it. I love to party. I love to drink. I'm like, but that's not the job. The job is to be like an emotional support animal for these people and really just be there with all the twists and turns. And I think that it's less glamorous than people think it is.
Yeah. Okay, so you said like in the beginning you weren't really a fan of being a bridesmaid, but then through making this your business and then being in so many different weddings, is it like something that you find joy in? And what are your favorite parts of it all? 'Cause I'm sure it's so different. I'm sure you meet like very organized brides that like tell you like this and this, and other times you're probably helping them organize a little bit more. So has that shifted or changed since you've done it?
I've said this publicly from day one that I don't love weddings. I don't understand them. I did not have one. I'm not wedding obsessed. I never was the little girl who cared about weddings. I still feel that way. I don't necessarily love the wedding environment. I absolutely have this deep love for strangers and helping people I don't know. I've always been like that. It's just part of my personality. I find it harder to connect with people in my life. I find it easier to connect with strangers. And that's why I do it. That's why I love it. I do think my favorite part of the job is being able to help a person during a difficult time in their lives. People don't label weddings as that, but they actually are. It's really tough for people to have a wedding, especially because most people have a tough family dynamic. They have secrets, they have problems that surface during the wedding, and they don't really have anyone to turn to because your friends they're busy or you feel scared to tell them this information because it will live with them forever. So being able to enter a person's life and help them process what should be a good time in their life, but is often a stressful time is the reason why I really love this job. I'm not qualified to be a therapist, nothing like that, but I do feel like a little bit of my job is therapy for people, or at least it's like a secret keeper. Like I hold on to their secrets for them. And to be able to help them get through that is what keeps me going. It just happens to be in a wedding setting.
Yeah. And I'm sure, like you were saying earlier, like having an unbiased opinion from someone or just an open ear is helpful because you think like all your closest people at a part of your wedding or something, they're all going to have some kind of bias around you, like whether that's good or bad. And so just having someone there that's there to help you and listen, like I'm sure just feels good to be like, just be on my side for this. I just need to tell you about this crazy thing my aunt did or whatever it is.
And I'm not going to lie to you because I have no stakes in the game. So if you want my honest opinion, I'm going to be honest. If you want unbiased advice, I'm going to do that because I don't have to ever see you again. So I'm not going to say things because I need to tiptoe around you. I'm going to say what you want because that's the relationship is I am completely going to be unbiased for you. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to try to help you and do what I think is best for you because I have no stakes in the game where your best friend might be like, oh, Jen, like you're just having cold feet. Go through with it because they don't want you to be embarrassed. And they have all these like other agendas. I have no agenda except that my job is to be there for you like a true friend would.
I've been thinking about how everyone really has internalized misogyny within us, especially like the way that I grew up and what I saw as in front of me modeled.
Mhm.
Everyone has internalized misogyny. And one way that it showed up in my marriage is that my husband loves to cook and he always has. And so when we got married, that was the role that he just naturally took. So we would meal plan together and everything, but then he would really execute the dish. And I did not want like anyone to know about this. I did not want his parents to know. Like, I didn't want to make it a topic. I didn't want to tell my mom because every time it came up socially, like, it made me feel like it made me look bad. Like, I wasn't fulfilling my duty. And there was even one time we hosted his family over and I made him tell them that I cooked the lasagna. And he was like, okay, like, I'll tell them. That's okay. Like, I'll tell them that you made it. And I had not. I had assisted. I had sous chefed. I was not doing it. And it still counts. But like, yeah, I was so worried about how people view traditional roles.
Oh my gosh, I feel so
Yeah.
seen right now.
I still, yeah, it's taken me a really long time to just now proudly be like, yeah. And it comes from women a lot of times. Like, women will make snide remarks and be like, he's the one that cooks.
Yes.
Okay. If I bring a dish to a potluck with friends, they'll be like, what did Hiran make? This is my husband. What did he make? He made a buffalo chicken dip, and it's really good.
Yes.
The way, the tone in which it's shared, or like just giving him credit, I'm like, what are we doing? There's internalized misogyny in that.
I think it's two couples that maybe haven't openly had that conversation of maybe the woman does everything, almost feel like, I don't know the right word to say, but like when they hear someone's husband does do some cooking, they're like, oh, my husband
Yes.
doesn't do that. And so it's like an instant, like they're angry that it's not working out for them. I'm not gonna say who, but there was someone close to me that like when they found out my husband like cooked dinner for us one night, to their husband, they were like, oh, you never cook for me. And it was just this like awkward moment because I was like, okay, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the same. My husband really enjoys cooking, and cooking for me has always been like second nature. Like I do okay if I like focus. I don't find complete joy in it.
I don't find joy. I've never really found joy in it. And I think that when you are in a partnership, like we've been talking about, like when one person has a strength and they take it on, it's not as though he's in the kitchen doing everything on his, I'm like behind, I'm cleaning. I'm sure you do dishes. I'm sure you're like part of it because you both have to be part of it.
Yeah.
So I think that when people know he cooks, they just picture me laying on the couch. We have two children. Somebody's giving them baths, like somebody is doing something. There's always something. My hands are never just idle. But whenever we know that a man is taking on a very traditional role, society it wants to criticize that. I don't understand it. I really don't get it.